Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome on board La Presse Refait match, and on tonight's edition of the program, we shall be focusing on the list made public by Antonio Conceição, the 24 short man list to play against Japan in an international friendly. Plus, we shall also be focusing on some two clubs that will be representing Cameroon at the continental level. We're talking about PWD of Bamenda and Coton Sport of Garwa, with the champions of Cameroon just coming back from Equatorial Guinea, where they had an international friendly as they prepare for the CAF Champions League. And also, we shall be diving into the camp of Bambutus Football Club of Boda to see how they've resumed training out there at the start at Tekokam here in the economic capital. This and more shall constitute the package on tonight's edition of the program with my guest, Clovis Sonken. Good afternoon, Clovis, and you're welcome on board La Presse Refait match.
Good evening, John Paul. Once more, it's a pleasure for me to be back home, because you've noted that I've been absent for some time, so I'm very happy to be back home. So it's a delight for me to be here to talk about soccer.
All right, and so let's begin with the list of Coach Antonio Conceição. He trimmed the 32-man list down to 24, and let's x-ray the list beginning from the goalkeeping compartment. We have the regulars Andre Onana and Fabrice Ondoa, and we also have a new guy making his way into the team. We're talking about Bloody Nuke of Stoke City out there in England. When you look at this goalkeeping compartment with Andre Onana, Fabrice Ondoa, as well as Blondie, one would say that Cameroon, we have always been blessed with goalkeepers.
Yes, obviously, as you earlier said, there the names that are well known are Fabrice Ondoa and Andre Onana. Then you have the newcomer Nuke, who plays for Stoke City in England. So that's something good for us. That's something good for us to have a goalkeeper there, because now you know that in a team, the goalkeeping compartment is a very, very important compartment. When the goalkeeper is not good, the team cannot perform well. So it's good to see somebody like that coming. But I've never seen him playing. I'm still to see him play so that I can be able to adjust in what way can help the national team.
Yeah, but when you look at these three goalkeepers, obviously you would say that Andre Onana is definitely the top favorite given his past record.
Yes, Andre Onana, because of his playing time, he plays for Ajax and he's been playing there. Fabrice Ondoa has also been playing. So you know that when it comes to national team, they get a chance to those who have playing time in the club. So when you look at the three goalkeepers, the person that has a good playing time in his club is Andre Onana. So obviously, we will not be surprised if he's chosen as number one.
Yeah, all right. And when you look at the defensive compartment, no doubt we have the likes of Fai Collins, Goran. We're talking about Ngandu, Michael. But the newcomers in here, we have the likes of Serge Loco, who is coming into that defensive compartment, as well as Nguyamsa Amat. These guys are definitely going to have given these old guards a run for their money.
Yes, John, you know the national team, those playing there cannot be there forever. So when they are leaving, there should be new, younger ones coming up to replace them, so that the transition can be easy. So I think it's something good for Antonio Conceição to bring in those fresh legs, so that by the time those who have been playing since 2017, I think about Fai Collins, even though he's still very young, I think about Ngadui. So by the time they might be leaving, those there are newcomers today will be able to replace them.
And a guy like Mukudi Harot, he will be very instrumental. We also saw him playing against Paris Saint-Germain for Saint-Etienne, and we saw what defensive capabilities he can bring to this team, as well as Jerome Ongene, who has been somewhat of a rock solid defender in the defensive compartment of Salzburg.
Yes, that's something good to bring somebody like Aaron Mukudi. So what he has been doing in France, I think that's something that's very good for the team. And John, another something I would like to highlight here is that in that center defense, I think about there's something that's very, very important, complementarity, because you can put two defenders, even though they are good, they won't be able to understand each other. So I think that's why the coach is trying to bring new boys, so as to be able to try the various associations, so that to see who can play who, and because you know, since before the Corona break, we had to play a game, and the game couldn't take place because of the Corona break, and now for some months, for more than 5 months, or maybe even for more than 5 months, the Lions have not played. So the coach is trying not to see to prepare his team for the AFCON.
And before that Corona outbreak, like you rightly said, we had the likes of Nicolas Nkulu, who was named in that list, and he was also in the 32-man short list, but unfortunately he couldn't make the cut.
Yes, John, after the AFCON, what happened in 2017 when he was left on the bench and he came in the final to score that goal, he said that he was going to stay aside from the national team for some time for personal reasons. And people have been trying to negotiate to bring him back. He was in the list of 32. Then now this list of 34 is not there. I don't know whether whether the decision came from him or the coach decided to put him aside. So right there, I don't really know what happened. So Nicolas Nkulu, we see what he have to do with Torino immediately. So I think he can still bring something to the national team.
And when we look at that midfield, we would say there is that continuity from the under-23 categories with the under-23 captain Samuel Umgweta, who has made this cut. We have the likes of youngsters like Onana Zhang as well as Neu Ivan.
Yeah, John, normally that's how things should be done. You should see a player going from the under-17 to the junior team, from the junior to the under-23, and then from the under-23 to the main team. So I saw somebody like Umgwet, very talented midfielder. It's not only today that I'm discovering him. I saw him play with Apaches when they won the cup back again in 2016. That's a very, very talented midfielder, and that is equally in the same compartment. I equally look at somebody like Yan Iteki, who's a very powerful midfielder. So I think those players are going to be very, very important for Antonio Conceição, because John, the midfield is the key of the team. Exactly. As I said, as Pep Guardiola, when you control the midfield, you control the game. So I think those balls are going to be very, very useful for our team. And
they're going to be tapping from the huge experiences of Pierre Koundé Malong as well as Frank Zamboangisa, who has been astute as far as that midfield is concerned.
Yes, remember after the AFCON, Andre Zamboangisa came in for the Confederations Cup, was very, very instrumental. He played for Lingla, for Fulham after he went to Villarreal on loan. Now he's back in Fulham. So if you see what he has been doing, Andre Zamboangisa is a good midfielder. And John, I would like to come up to this. In the national team, the coach is there. You're not there to train players, to teach them how to play. So you use you put a system based on the quality of your players. So I think Coach Antonio Conceição should try to see the player, how the various way of associating players so that the team can go win, because we've got talent. And the Japanese side that they're going to play during this friendly break is going to be wary of the name of Jean-Pierre Samuel. We all know what he did, his exploit with Young Boys Bern last season. Yeah, he scored a good number of goals, and I think he has not been scoring for the national team. So I think, I want
probably because he hasn't been given that much time.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, with the absence of the likes of Vincent Aboubakar as well as the captain Choupo-Moting, this might certainly be an occasion for him to pop up.
Yeah, with the absence of Vincent Aboubakar and Choupo-Moting, it should be equally noted that there's Ganago who is there. So
who has also been on good form for you.
Yes, it depends on the choice of the coach, and it also depends on the system of play, because John, in your club, you have different partners, teammates with different qualities. The national team, the environment is different. So it depends on player, and I'm also that a good player should be able to adapt whatever it is. When you look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, in Real Madrid, scored when he was Man U, he scored. Real Madrid, he was able to hit the back of the net. Then Juventus do it equally with the national team, is able to do it. So a good player is that one who's able to adapt whatever it is.
And are you surprised that the names of Choupo-Moting as well as Vincent Aboubakar are not in this final list of 24?
I think Vincent Aboubakar, after his long injury, he has been struggling. He has been struggling to come back. Even though I think he was called once after his injury, and now he's been left out. What I will say is that maybe the coach is trying to give some time because it should be noted that he has equally changed the club, so maybe the coach want to give him some time to be able to improve once more, because John should be noted that it's not very easy to regain your form after a long injury. It's very difficult. So I think the coach wants to see. We know that Abubakar Versa is a good striker. Maybe the coach wants to look at the new ones coming that can be able to replace Versa Abubakar when he will not be there.
And this campaign is beginning on the 5th to the 13th, and they're going to be playing against Japan. When you look at this game with the current team that Coach Antonio Conceição has at hand, and you look at the Japanese side, who would you say the Cameroonians are going up against?
No, I think the Japanese team, they're very swift, very fast. So in such a game, we know that we Africans, we are a little bit heavy. So in that game, we should not go playing an attacking football. We should not try maybe sit behind and wait for the Japanese to come, so as to be able to counter them. I think for me, that's the best way to play there, because if you want to play for attacking football, yeah, I think no. We are going to be punished.
And the last time Cameroon played Japan, I quite remember, was at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, and we ended that game in tears. We lost 1-0.
No, that's it. So I think when you're playing such a team that's very sweet, you should be very careful. So we should just sit deep on the pitch and try to counter them.
First international friendly for the Abaka boys, a stalemate recorded as they traveled to test the might of AS Futuro Kings in Mongomo. The boys of coach David Pago, on their way to the CAF Champions League, resisted the onslaught from the home team early on in the game.
The first experience playing international friendly game, it was very nice for our team, because we respect the team that our coach told us to respect. The game was very difficult, because between team is a very nice team, but we can withstand them. It's that we need to play another matches, because during the second half they changed another team. It was a new team again.
The second half saw the boys of coach Jean-François Losito dominate, but the match ended 0-0 between the two sides at the sound of the referee's final whistle.
Well, it was more of a balanced game between the two sides. We know the two teams that are coming to the CAF Champions League for the very first time, and I mean, playing at the Estadio de Malabo with the crowds we had there, good number of Cameroonians who came out to support PW of Bamenda, and of course, going by the words of the coach of Futuro Kings, Jean-François Losito, in Equatorial Guinea don't know anything like a friendly game, so they took the game very serious, and they actually dominated the first segment of the game. And they had clear score opportunities. For example, guys like Alphonse Kevin Asiga, who was one of the top scorers in the Cameroon League, won championship last year where he was playing with Canon Sporting of Yaoundé, was a constant threat to PW Bamenda in the first segment before he was pulled out in the second segment. The Abakwa boys really improved in the second segment of the game, especially when the likes of Amzat Ibrahim Onochu came in to stabilize the defense, though he was pulled out minutes later due to an hamstring injury. But I believe that PW Bamenda had a good second segment with Nigerian international Emmanuel Samuel coming close to scoring a goal, though his goal rattled the woodworks and the referee said it did not cross the line. I mean, all in all, it was a balanced game between two teams that will be discovering the CAF Champions League for the very first time, and it's really been a good stay for PW Bamenda out here in Equatorial Guinea since they arrived last Saturday. I mean, everything has been so perfect for Coach David Pago and his boys who are returning back to Cameroon later on.
PWD of Bamenda set to return to the country to continue preparations ahead of the continent's top flight competition and the defense of their League One title. Now let's talk PWD of Bamenda and the local football. And so PWD of Bamenda, they went to Equatorial Guinea, and unfortunately, they got a 0-0 tie against AS Futuro of Mongomo. When you look at this team that David Pago is building up, what would you say about this PWD side?
John, as I earlier told you off, I think this PWD side, sincerely, I think that this season we are going to have a more powerful PWD than last season. because when I look at last season, they had good players because at the beginning of the season, their main ambition was to win the title. So in the course of playing, in the course of winning games, so and the title came. This time around, when I look at the boys that Coach Pago have brought to reinforce the team, when I look at the goalkeeping compartment, well, last season, even though goalkeeper Rodrigue Zamel had a good number of clean sheets, I think he made a mistake adding him Bafusam again in Kwekong against Fovo, and then after that, the relationship between him and the supporters was not very, very good, and he lost his place. After that, the goalkeeper that played, they were not very, very, very reassuring, and you know that the goalkeeping position is a very, very strategic one because if you have the best defenders, the best midfielders, the best attackers, the opponent will always have a shot or shots on target, and if each time the opponent has shot on target, it's a goal. So there's no, it should not. There's not. I don't know how to put it. So it's useless playing because if each time the opponent has a shot on target, it's a goal. It's useless playing. So I think Coach Pago this time around has brought in Ashikorido, was a very, very experienced goalkeeper, played for Unisport. Zastro gone to Dragon and now went to Guinea and is coming back. So very, very experienced. He has international experience. So I think that is going to be very, very helpful to them. And remember, in an interview, Coach Pago told me yesterday that for him, the goalkeeper is 50% of his team. So I believe that's where he has gone for Ashikorido. I think that's a massive, massive signing for them. I don't want to leave aside Fede Alexander, Vincent Gondi, we call it Duhamel, Duhamel Kalamaji. So a striker, even though Boyomo left for us. I don't think that's going to be a major problem for them because before Boyomo came to emerge the top scorer in our league, I don't think many people did not know about Boyomo. So PWG, they can equally fabricate another Boyomo. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for them. But I still believe, and I say it, PWG this season, I see them being stronger than last season.
Okay. And with them having the opportunity to play an international friendly game, at least it gives some of these players that we should consider experience of playing elsewhere apart from Cameroon against a team like IS Futuro, who are also playing in the continental competition.
Yes, against IS Futuro, trained by a coach that you know very, very well, Alexander Bellinga, very, very charismatic coach. I think going out there and pulling a 0-0 tie, I don't think that's a bad score because he should be noted in that game. Alexander Bellinga used 23 players because the first 11 that played the first half, in the second half they changed the team entirely. Then after they made one change, whereas Coach Pago he simply used 16 players. And before that, he played the game 2 matches in Limbe. I think they won one, then they drew the second one. So I think that's a very, very confident PWG, and I see them going places.
All right, and with the fact that they succeeded to hold on to Coach David Pago, that's certainly going to be a plus for them in the CAF Champions League as well as in the defense of their title.
Yes, I've been to the FI, I've watched Coach Pago working. That's a very good, because I used to say it, a good coach should be charismatic. Coach Pago is very, very charismatic. I remember last season a game, Adam Bankoma against Tone. In halftime I was there beside when he was talking to his players. They said midfielder Nilo, the very young boy, told his assistant that, coach, this boy is not doing well and he's going to be out. Put him out. And John immediately that boy was substituted. So Coach Pago doesn't joke. When he gives instruction, the players they follow the instructions to be on the pitch, and that's why you see this team PWD winning, because when you look at players like Balvis, Nde Collins, Derek Borini, Bonjour Ondoa, those are players that are ready to die on the pitch for the coach. So I think in that team, Coach Pago have done a very, very good job.
Okay. All right, now let's get this interview of the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Seydou Mboumounchoya, after their executive meeting out there in Yaoundé.
Ces derniers jours, votre intérêt a été bien plus marqué et s'est focalisé sur la situation de la Ligue de football professionnel du Cameroun. C'est dire que le retour à la compétition est voulu par chacun et attendu par tous. Et c'est ce à quoi nous avons consacré notre énergie et notre temps depuis plusieurs semaines, et notamment ces 2 derniers jours. Inutile de tourner autour du pot. Nous avons examiné la situation au sein de la LFPC à la suite des sentences du tribunal arbitral du sport prononcées le 14 septembre dernier, et après la réunion de concertation organisée par le ministre des Sports et de l'Éducation physique le 17 septembre 2020. En toute responsabilité et dans un souci permanent d'apaisement, nous avons élaboré et fait adopter par l'Assemblée générale les modalités d'application de bonne foi, et je répète de bonne foi, de la sentence du TAS pour un démarrage le plus tôt possible du championnat professionnel. Nous avons trouvé un accord avec la LFPC, validé et signé par le général Pierre Semengue, président de cette ligue. Vous trouverez l'ensemble des mesures prises ou à prendre dans le communiqué final de l'Assemblée générale. Je me satisfais que les différentes parties prenantes aient trouvé la voie de sortie d'une situation qui pouvait retarder le démarrage du championnat. Je voudrais ici remercier mes collègues du comité exécutif et les délégués à l'Assemblée générale qui ont fait montre de sagesse et de grande responsabilité dans l'analyse et la résolution de la situation. Quant à la FECAFOOT, elle se met immédiatement dans son rôle pour permettre une mise en œuvre rapide des résolutions concourant à une reprise des activités dans le football professionnel, dans le football féminin, dans le football jeune et dans le football amateur.
All right, you're welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One of the resolutions that came out from that executive meeting which held there in Yaoundé was the fact that Coton Sport of Garoua will represent Cameroon at the CAF Confederations Cup. Most people had thought that it would be starting out of Melon because they are the recent title cup holders of the Cup of Cameroon, but the executive committee of ECAFOOT decided otherwise.
Yeah, John. I think there we are exposing ourselves because CAF communique was clear that the competition that didn't take place or that didn't go to the end. It is the defending champion, the defending champion that should go and represent the country in the continental level. But here in the country, who is the cup holder? Started now of Melon. So I don't see, I don't understand. I don't understand how, by which mechanism Coton Sport is going to play CAF competition.
They finished second in the last
season. They finished second in the league. By then, we had 4 places. First and second, they were going in for Champions League.
Exactly.
And the third and the cup winner, they were going for the CAF competition. But this time around, you have lost 2 places, meaning that only the champion goes for Champions League, then the cup winner go for the CAF competition. So the rules are clear. So there's nothing saying that there's nowhere it's been said that the second should go for CAF competition. So I think that's simply our own invention, and we are exposing ourselves. So if tomorrow or after tomorrow any sanction comes in, John, we should simply accept it.
But when you look at the decision and you look at the Cotton Sport Garwa side that will be challenging or defending Cameroon at the Confederations Cup, you would say this is probably the best side to take part in this competition owing to the number of signings that they've made so far.
Yes, John, I understand your question. You should not send somebody because that person is a because he has qualities to go and represent the country. John, you should follow the text, you should follow the rules. What does the rules say? So that's why, because I understand you. If you want to weigh Cotton Sport and Sarah now, you obviously say that no, Cotton Sport is a better place. Yes, it's a better place to represent the country. But what does the rules say? That's what you should follow. So I have nothing against Cotton Sport. They'll be there. They have recruited good players. Etame Ngombe, Chrissy Lugdam, Mizumba. There are many of them. Derek Anye, goalkeeper that you love very, very much. So I think that they're preparing, and I think they're also going to have this problem. If the CAF that competition kicks off, when some of the players come with the intermediate lines, how are they going to do? So I think that's going to be one of the major worry for Coach Abubakar Sulemanu. So I don't know how they're going to handle that issue, because they have Itabawok there, Etame Ngombe is there, Anye Derek, the Yaoundé, in the intermediate lions, and the rest of the team is there in Garwa training, preparing the CAF competition. So I don't know how they're going to handle that. And the player, I don't know, see a player, there will be a situation where a player will be forced to choose between CAF competition and maybe the Shan team. So I don't really know how they're going to handle that.
Probably CAF might reschedule those matches owing to the fact that the Chan is a continental competition and these players play for this club. But nevertheless, when you look at Cotton Sport of Garwa with almost 19 signings that they've made this season, you would say they really have that personnel to replace one another as far as a given post is concerned.
John, you've been following, let's just take Premier League. Yeah. Have you ever heard that a team in Premier League has recruited 19 players this season? No. When you have a team,
it depends on your ambitions and when you're
no, John, you have a set of players, you have your playing system, you have a set of players. Then at the end of the season, you try to see when the team went wrong. They try to adjust, try to bring in some 3 or 4 players to adjust, so as to keep the team moving. When you bring in 10 players, 13 players, John, what I must say is that that cohesion won't be there. So you need to take time. So it will take about 1, 2, 3 seasons for the team, for the players to get to know one another, and so from there the team will start winning games. So Cotton Sport recruiting is good, but when you look like that, you should be patient, because you cannot sow today. I want to reap at the same time. No, when you sow, you should be patient for the crop to grow and produce the fruits.
Now, when you look at this Cotton Sport team, you see that most of the old players are no longer there, and that's why they went into this transfer market and did the heavy business that they did.
Yes, most of the players like Mosola has gone to Congo as Vita Club. They brought in Anye Derek to replace and Len. Yes, at the center defense I've lost some players, but they've been able to replace them. They have many players there, so I don't really know how the coach is going to handle it, because we look at Kwesi, Etame Ngombe, look at Ngomo. I think those are all good centre backs that deserve to be there, to be in the starting 11. So I don't know how the coach is going to handle that, because when I look at those players, none of them will be happy to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for the team, but I think that the coach should know how to manage those players, because those are all quality players.
Yeah, but well, when you look at the current context, given the fact that they will be involved in 3 major fronts, we're talking about the league, the Cup of Cameroon, as well as the CAF Confederations Cup. It's very important to have that huge personnel as far as your team is concerned.
Yes, it's very important to have them. It's very important to have them. But John, we have the Chan team, and the list is not close. Anything can happen at any time, and so these players they're waiting for the league to kick off so that they can perform well, so as to impress Coach Aroga. Maybe from there you can call them. So John, those that will not be playing, they won't be happy. Even though if there's CAF competition, you can see playing
the league,
Cup of Cameroon, the league.
You have to play the league week in, week out.
You have to play the league. John, when the league will start, those that are in camp, they'll go back to their team. And from there, John, you cannot use 5 defenders in the game. So the coach, center back, the coach will be forced to choose 2. And those that are not playing, they won't have that visibility. Because here in Cameroon, John, I must say, here in Cameroon, for me, the most important thing is the playing time. Because here, the player cannot play here throughout his career and earn and go and retire here and have a good, have a peaceful retirement. So, because the lifespan of a footballer is maybe 10, the average lifespan is between 10 and 15 years. So, John, when you are playing, you should be able to save much so as to be able to live a better life after your career. And our league here doesn't guarantee that. So, the player should go and play where he can earn more so as to be able to prepare his retirement.
All right, now when you look at the current situation that has plagued football with the resumption date not yet known, there is this battle between the Cameroon Football Federation and the LFPC. When you look at all these, what do you make of all these issues that is going on with Cameroon football today?
John, you know I'm a football fan, but about 2 months ago I said that I don't see myself going again to stay there to watch games because I'm shocked. I'm shocked because in Cameroon football has left the pitches. Now football is being played in offices and in courts. So I don't think that's something interesting because for me, what interests me is the player, is the main actor. Don't maybe you're a Man U fan or Liverpool fan. I don't know whether you know the name of the president of Liverpool. The people you know are the players, the main actors on the pitch, the salary money and so on, the female and so on. But in Cameroon, the stars are the club president, those working in offices. So I think for me that's something very, very bad because in Cameroon, when you look at the players, they are there in a misery that you cannot describe. But people are fighting in offices that tell you about 20 million for you to, for a cast to open your case, you should deposit an amount of 20 million. Whereas the players that are there that are unable to fit. So John, what's that? What are we playing? So I feel very, very bad. I feel very, very discouraged about it because Cameroon, the main actor is not valued because everybody wants to make his pride to prevail. So I don't think that's the right way to do things because for me, the main actor should be able to live on what he's doing. But in Cameroon, it's very, very difficult for the players to benefit from what they are doing.
And it's popularly said that when 2 elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. In this case, the grass could be it's Cameroon football, and the players have been out of football for almost 6 months now. And the city before the decision from CAS had announced that the league might begin early October, but we are almost a few days into October, and the battle is not yet done. We don't know when the league is going to resume, and when you look at this, what a negative impact could it have on our league, owing to the fact that we have the league, and in a couple of months' time, Cameroon will be hosting the African Nations Championship.
John, our league is very, very funny. Our league is one of the leagues where the break is longer than the competition itself, because when you want to take from where we stop right now, I think it's been almost 6 months. 6 months. Players have not been competing. When you look in Europe, they already started. Whereas they ended after us. They already started. So that's why I was saying that in Cameroon, they don't care about the actor. They don't care about the actor because what does the player want to do? The player wants to play. John, the player wants to play. They want to see the player on the pitch. That's where he can impress, but that's where he should show his talent to gain more visibility. But when a player is not playing, he's being kept at home. John, his future has been his future is not promising. So I think those governors of football, they should try to put the main actor at the center of the game, because right now players have been kept aside. And what do we see now? We see the batting offices, we see batting this one against it. I don't want to say who's right, who's wrong, but they should put the main actor at the center of the game. The main actor should be at the center of the game, because John, people used to say that football is 80% administration and 20% on the pitch. But John, you can have your 80% in offices, but if on the pitch there are players, football will not take place. So I think the main actor, one players, and maybe the coaches, they should be put at the center of the game.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sonken, for being part of the program today.
Yeah, John, it's been a pleasure, and each time you call for me, I'll be there for the game.
Definitely, I shall hold you to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over to see how Bambutus Football Club of Buda, they are doing their faring as far as their training is concerned. They just resumed training out here in the economic capital.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Training today.
The focus of training today was really for the practice. We work physically for the starting today. Start since Monday for the beginning. We're supposed to work. We're supposed to play to warm up first. We try for first warm up and work physically, and for the new players, practice. So see how any players are supposed to
The wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. The wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go.
On vous l'a dit hier, élevez un peu votre niveau. On veut voir quelque chose. Ça sert à rien qu'on perde du temps ici. Appliquez-vous les gars.
Now, these players have been out for a very long time. What is being done to ensure that they get up to match fitness?
To match fitness, we try to prevent them have injury for not injury. It's also a long time for no training, 6 months, 7 months for no training. We try to work short for baby to not get injury for and we hope that if we continue prepare normally to not get
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Là, c'est les 4 en attaque. Avant ça, 10, 2 milieux couloirs. Joue chez les jaunes. Sanjo est là. Safak, Sadja. Donc vous prenez chez les 2 milieux de terrain défensifs et les 2 latéraux. Les défenseurs centraux vont rester. Chez les verts, ceux qui vont chez les verts, Teto, Moboulé, Toumi, Manga.
You two have signed a couple of players. Tell us about the signing for Bamucho's Cup of this season.
On a travaillé différemment. C'est-à-dire que la dernière fois, c'était un peu plus de bureau. Maintenant, on a permis à ce qu'on discute, on travaille un peu plus dans les bureaux. On a rencontré les joueurs, on a discuté avec certains. Le temps qu'on a pu avoir, on espère que nous continuons à travailler avec les autres. On espère que d'ici à la fin de la semaine, on a pu avoir le nombre exact qu'on a besoin.
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on
Il y a d'autres joueurs qui viennent ou comme des...
Évidemment, on a des anciens qui doivent retrouver et quelques d'autres nouveaux. Je crois que ça sera un groupe déjà concis et bon, on fera avec les moyens bons en fonction de ce qu'on a fait de route et en fonction aussi du projet et du plan que l'organisation nous a présenté.
Et quel est votre objectif pour cette saison?
Faire mieux que l'année passée. L'année passée, on a fini par prendre notre blé. On espère que cette année, on va faire mieux. On va essayer d'aller un peu plus qu'il en faut. Et pourquoi pas approcher vers cette année.
Okay. Et quelle leçon avez-vous? What lessons did you learn from last season that you would like to correct this time?
La leçon qu'on a eue l'année passée, c'est de savoir que à chaque fois qu'on avait joué, sans nos internationaux, on n'avait pas gagné. Il faut corriger ça cette année. Il faut bien apprendre pour éviter de tomber dans les mêmes erreurs. Je crois qu'on va travailler beaucoup plus pour corriger ces erreurs-là. Avoir un résultat normal.
Thank you very much, coach.
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. turn us to thousands. On we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go, the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go, the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
Bonjour, moi c'est Kamal Franck. Je viens d'Avon FC. Je suis à Campus pour un nouveau challenge. J'ai signé une saison et je crois que dans la saison, je ferai tout pour pouvoir évoluer le niveau et avoir ne serait-ce que le titre.
Et pourquoi avez-vous choisi de Bambutus Football Club de Bouddha?
J'ai choisi Bambutus Football de Bouddha parce que c'est une très bonne équipe aussi. C'est une équipe ambitieuse. C'est une équipe avec le travail et une équipe.
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun. Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on
cette saison, c'est titiller le titre, peut-être être champion du Cameroun, avoir peut-être aussi la Coupe du Cameroun et aller en Champions League.
Et quelle plus de valeur que tu as gagné avec cette équipe?
Bon, avec toutes les capacités que le coach va mettre en place, ça peut nous permettre de guetter aussi le champ, on ne sait jamais, mais ça serait un plus. Déjà, il faut travailler dur pour pouvoir, avec les 6 mois qu'on a passé à la maison, ça peut être facile. Donc on va se mettre au travail.
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And how has the welcome been from the other teammates?
Bon, à l'équipe, j'ai été très bien accueilli par les anciens. Déjà, ce sont des joueurs qu'on connaît, on se connaît en championnat, en amical aussi. On a passé de très bons moments ensemble. Déjà, j'ai pas été surpris de les voir. Ce sont des amis.
And what has the message been from the administrative and the technical staff to you guys?
Bon, l'administration, ils ont été très clairs et ils veulent le titre. Ils veulent être champion du Cameroun, ils veulent aussi la Coupe du Cameroun. Et le reste sera un bonus.
Thank you very much.
Merci à vous et la presse refait le match.
Wastelands through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands. We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. The wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the package we put together for you on tonight's edition of the program. Until next week for a fresh and brand new show from us to you, it's a bye-bye and stay tuned to STV.